independent, not one, but it's over how much they should cut in federal spending. But no tax hikes, is that correct? No tax hikes, not one. But it's worse than that. There are giant corporations paying basically no taxes. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, independent, is asking these questions when no one else holding office seems to be willing to do so. Good evening, Senator. Good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
You talk about shared sacrifice, but let's talk about the numbers. Staggering profits and some of these corporations paying zero tax. How do we change that?
Well, we changed that by saying that at a time when this country has a $14 trillion national debt, it is insane for Wall Street companies like Bank of America, Citigroup, bailed out by the taxpayers of this country, making huge profits. And it's not only that they don't pay anything in taxes, they get a tax rebate. The major oil companies, Exxon, Chevron, Valero, huge profits, no taxes, get a rebate. General Electric, $26 billion in profits in the last 5 years, zero taxes, $4 billion rebate. Meanwhile, what our Republican friends are doing is saying, oh, we have this huge deficit. We're going to have to balance the budget. How do we do it? Well, we cut Head Start, we cut the Social Security Administration, we cut Pell Grants for college students, we slashed the environmental protection, we cut nutrition programs for low-income pregnant women. The issue here is shared sacrifice. The rich get richer, corporate profits are soaring. It is absurd that the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations in this country do not play a role in deficit reduction, and that we simply move toward a balanced budget on the backs of the weak and the most vulnerable people in this country. That is morally wrong. That is bad economic policy as well.
And for full disclosure, you mentioned General Electric, and I want to point out that General Electric owns 49% of our parent company of NBC Universal. But I do want to point out, and I think this cuts right to the law, none of these companies are breaking the law. It is the tax laws that they're working from within. And the Republicans don't seem to have any kind of appetite to change those laws. Where does that leave the American taxpayer?
Well, it leaves the American taxpayer on the hook. It says that the average working stiff in this country, the average person who's making $40,000 or $50,000 a year in income, is paying more in taxes than a giant corporation like General Electric or Citigroup or ExxonMobil. That is totally absurd. So we need to focus on eliminating all of these loopholes that allow these very, very profitable corporations to not contribute to the Treasury at all.
What would it do if they were paying, say, 1 or 2 or 3%? What would it do? I mean, have you run the numbers on this, on just what kind of an impact and how it would affect? Because right now, what we're having in this country on a state level, and of course, just in the last segment of the show on the federal level, we're going through some cuts that we've never seen before. Because we have not a tax problem, we have a revenue problem. If we were to fix the tax code, all of that would change.
Absolutely. Look, you know, as Bob Reich just mentioned a moment ago, it is insane to be extending tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. It is equally insane that large profitable corporations not only pay no taxes, but get a rebate from the IRS. If you address those problems, you don't have to cut Head Start or nutrition programs for low-income people or the Social Security Administration. The issue here is, yes, we have a deficit problem. Yes, we have to address it. But you don't address it just by doing it on the backs of the weak, the sick, the elderly, and the poor. Yeah. You need the wealthy and large corporations also to play a role. Now, the issue, Ed, as you well know, is working folks don't have a lot of power on Capitol Hill. No. It's the big lobbyists representing these corporations who write the tax law.